Hey, so you are thinking about moving to San Diego. It is a great place, right? But it's just not for everyone. Tons of people are moving here, but tons of people are also leaving. If you cannot handle these 10 reasons, then maybe San Diego isn't the right place for you. Some of the most common reasons we hear as to why people don't move to San Diego are things like earthquakes and mudslides, high home prices, wildfires, and that they wouldn't want to live in a place that's loaded with tourists all the time. Hey, all are valid concerns, but in this video, we're taking a closer look at the real reasons people don't move here. No sugarcoating it, I'm giving you my true perspective of the 10 things that you must know or you're going to want to avoid San Diego. Things like how blue and liberal it's become through the years, how much people absolutely love their electric vehicles and their e-bikes here, and how proud families are of their long-standing military heritage here. I'm talking about all of that and more, being brutally honest here. So if things don't sit well with you, maybe San Diego's not your place. Let's find out. Hey everybody, Lyle and Lenore Anderson here, your father and daughter realtor team right here in San Diego, California. Hey, we get it. Moving, relocating, and buying a home are some of the biggest decisions of your life. So if you want all the need to know info about moving to and figuring out if you can handle living in San Diego, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Just tap that notification bell. It doesn't cost you a thing and it really helps out our channel. Oh, and don't be shy. Reach out to us. Give us a call, a text, or an email. Hey, having honest, knowledgeable experts help when you're making a move makes everything so much easier for you and your family. All right, so let's jump right into it. First thing you want to know when you're moving to San Diego is something you're really going to have to come to grips with. Our top reason for not moving here is what locals call the sunshine tax, which means everything is more expensive here, from groceries to gas, from the DMV registration fees to the cost of being a small business owner. And the crazy thing is that voters keep passing legislation to raise taxes and fees. Just this past year, the residents in the city of San Diego proper voted to pass Measure B. It's a new tax on trash collection, which was already paid for from the general fund for many years. But for some odd reason, it's now a separate tax of anywhere from $350 to $500 per household a year. Yes, our fees, costs, and taxes are some of the most expensive in the nation. So much so that it's actually driving people and businesses away from the area. So if you do plan on moving here, do your homework. Do not plan on moving here if you are barely getting by with a minimum wage job where you live right now. Figure out your budget and your expenses first. You need to know if you can afford living here. Before you make the move, it really is the most important thing to consider. Now, our second reason to not move to San Diego is that our climate is dry, boring, and predictable. See, we do not have 4 seasons. Heck, we barely have 2. What people in other climate zones might actually just call summer and fall. No, you're never going to find any real winter clothes for sale here. You're lucky if you find decent ski and snowboard clothes for sale in our sporting goods stores. Guys, we just have no idea what the real cold is all about, which means you're going to see gals in 60-degree weather run around in Ugg boots and a knit beanie. Yeah, San Diegans have acclimated to a temperature range of about 55 on the low side to about 85 on the high side. Most days when we tune into the weather report, we're expecting sunny and 75. So we do have microclimates here in San Diego, the coastal region, the inland foothills, the mountains, and the deserts. And it is not uncommon for it to be 70 and overcast at the coast, 80 and sunny inland, 70 up in the mountains, and 90 or more out in the deserts. All on the same day, all in the same county. Now, because of San Diego's unique landscape, we do get ridges of high pressure from time to time that are sweeping across from the east to the west. And that causes what we call Santa Ana winds. They are picking up and blowing around all the dust and pollen across the county. And it's common for the wind gust of like 30 miles an hour up in the mountains on Santa Ana days, and down in our foothills and coastal areas, you're likely to see anywhere from 5 to 20 mile an hour gust. But on most days, it's just boring, 75 degrees and sunny. But when it does rain, look out. Which brings us to our third reason not to move here. A rainy day in San Diego equals awful traffic. And that's because we're clueless about how to drive in any kind of bad weather. We're spoiled by like 270 or so days of sunshine each year. So yeah, the roads are going to get slick because of all the oil and the road grime that isn't washed away very often. But rainy day traffic is like the next level here. You can expect to hear about 20 to 40 different accidents if it's raining during a rush hour. Thank goodness it doesn't snow here. San Diego would pretty much shut down if that happened. It's rare, but sometimes we do get back-to-back days of rains or storms. And if that happens a lot in a year, it's called an El Nino weather pattern. And sometimes you'll even hear the weather reporter throw out the term Pineapple Express. Okay, so we got El Nino, Pineapple Express, Santa Ana, his names for all these different weather patterns. Things you definitely need to know before moving here for sure. On to our number 4 reason for not moving to San Diego. Guys, if you cannot handle a fake lawn, like AstroTurf and rock landscapes, then you're not going to do well in our continual drought. San Diego is in a state of constant water restrictions. As much as people want to think it's a tropical paradise here, we are nowhere near Hawaii's climate. We're in a high desert region with some coastline and some decent-sized mountains surrounding it. We barely get rain, and most of our water comes from the Colorado River. And when you look at the map, we are the last ones on the river to get that water. 7 other states share water from the Colorado River too. So between the drought conditions in the entire Southwest and the amount of people that are using it, the river is being depleted. So there has been some talk about creating more than just the one desalination plant that we have here in San Diego, and that's up in Carlsbad, where they're actually processing ocean water into fresh water. Brilliant idea to me, but then again, what do I know, right? Honestly, guys, I think there is little to no chance that they would ever be able to add any more of those desalination plants here, thanks to the stronghold that the Coastal Commission has on things. So the last I heard, they were saying that the extra salt that gets released back into the ocean is just too much for the coastal wildlife. So be prepared to water what little landscaping you have only on certain days of the week. Be sure to turn off the faucet when you brush your teeth, and don't you dare even think about leaving on that hose while you're washing your car in your driveway. All joking aside though, between the drought and the Santa Anas, our fire danger is a real thing. We have had a bunch of firestorms that start up with the Santa Ana winds. The winds get whipped through the canyons and the foothills, and just one tiny little spark can lead to disaster. Sometimes they end up endangering homes and lead to evacuations. So be aware that fire danger is an issue when you're looking for a new home. These fires can move fast, and they take out the entire landscape of vegetation. Then, when we do get heavy rains, those burn areas can be susceptible to mudslides. Now, this is now happening more in our backcountry area and for folks that maybe live along the canyons. So, you need to be aware that you can expect higher homeowners insurance if your home is located in a fire zone. Hey, if it was a choice between earthquakes and fires, I would take my chance with an earthquake. Fires are a whole different story here. Now, here's my quick take on earthquakes. Check this out. It's our local shake map. Yeah, that's a real thing. Here's how many we've had in the past week, and we are not on the San Andreas fault line like up in Riverside County. And yeah, the ground shakes all the time. Sometimes we actually even get a 4 to 5 on a Richter scale, and you're definitely going to feel those rumbles in your location. Maybe in our lifetime we'll get the big one here in San Diego, but that just has not happened in the last 40 plus years that we've lived here. So most San Diegans do not sweat earthquakes. And our number 5 reason not to move to San Diego is that our population and growth is creating more urban sprawl and dense neighborhood living plans. San Diego is getting more and more crowded. I get it. People want to live where all the fun stuff's happening, and they want to be close to their work. And it turns out that some people are willing to sacrifice their personal space and their ability to have a yard to do this. Just last month, the city of San Diego came out with a climate action plan and a general plan for the area of Mira Mesa, which allows the housing to double what it currently is at. 26,800 homes to 58,000 homes, which in my opinion was already built out completely like 20 years ago. But they figured out a way to make a crowded neighborhood even more crowded. Luckily, this plan's going to take them the next 20 to 30 years to complete. Well, we end up joking all the time about this, how developers have built these mini mansions on these tiny size lots in areas like Carmel Valley and Forest Ranch. You are lucky if you have a 15-foot setback on each side of the fence between the homes in these neighborhoods, and it's all due to the high cost of land in San Diego. Builders are trying to get the best bang for their buck. Truth is, we just don't have any more open space in our urban areas for homes with decent sized yards. So if you do want a little space between you and your neighbors, somewhere your kids can play and you can be grilling up some dinner, good news. There are parts of San Diego where you can actually find larger lots. Heck, if you don't mind being 10 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes away from the freeway, you can actually get some acreage. In fact, where I live, my neighbors are a cattle ranch and an orange grove. We live on a property with an avocado grove. So yes, there are spots in San Diego where you don't have to hear your neighbor's dog barking away while you're eating your dinner. You just need to be willing to live out on the outskirts a bit. So our number 6 reason to not move to San Diego is a concern that we've been seeing over the past several years especially. There is a growing division of the haves and the have-nots. In San Diego, a lot of the middle-class people are actually moving away to more affordable areas. They're able to sell their home for a hefty profit and buy somewhere else for maybe even half of what their home was worth here, where they can get more home for their dollar. These families are searching out a quieter, slower pace environment, and unfortunately, the lower income people who would like to move away can't afford to. And then you got the wealthier folks who love everything San Diego has to offer and don't plan on moving at all. Between inflation and our strong left government policies at work up in Sacramento at the state level and in the city of San Diego, we are seeing a spread of the wealthy and the lower income folks increase. So, like we said with item number 1, coming here, you want to be sure you're able to afford the lifestyle that you want. And be aware of the cost and things and what we pay as the sunshine tax to live here. The last thing we want is for you to move here, hate it, have no work-life balance, and end up moving away. Which brings us on to number 7 of the reasons you may not want to move here. San Diego and Southern California have seen an increase in the homeless population. As the cost of living increases here, the poverty level goes up, and people just can't afford their rent. I've even heard that other cities are putting their homeless on buses with a one-way ticket here. And there are many folks who decide to migrate here instead of being in a colder climate. I mean, can you blame them? Now, one really good thing is that San Diego has a lot to offer for assistance programs for the homeless, and we are seeing weekly newscasts about how our elected officials are trying to come up with all these different solutions. So, just know, when you're here, you will see tents, tarps, and even RVs that line the streets. I know this isn't a problem that's unique to San Diego. Most major cities have this going on right now, but it is prevalent, and you will notice it when you're living here. All right, let's talk about something a little lighter here with reason number 8. San Diego is not for you if you consider yourself an indoorsy type person. This place is going to be boring for you, and God knows you can find somewhere way cheaper to live. Plus, if you don't get outside very much, you're never going to be on the lookout for all of the wildlife in San Diego that us outdoorsy people have to deal with. Yeah, the threatening ones like mountain lions and coyotes and even sharks. So stay vigilant when you're out hiking and keep an eye out on Fluffy and your kiddos, and watch for rattlesnakes too. Now, as far as the great white sharks off the coast, I am not sure what to tell you about that one. You're on your own. So outdoorsy folks, keep a lookout. Okay, number 9 on our list of reasons not to move to San Diego is a biggie. Southern California, San Diego included, has a housing shortage. Now, this isn't just rental property that's listed for sale too. We have 1.7 months of supply of homes for sale in a county of 3.4 million people, which means starting today, if nobody put their home on the market, we would run out of homes for sale in less than 2 months. Now, there's no easy solution for this one either. We don't have the space to build, and San Diego has some of the highest costs in the nation to build new homes. That's why the local builders build high-end homes. They get the most return on their investment with that type of product. So, when you move here, I suggest you buy in the best neighborhood and the best home that you can in your price range and hold on to that thing. Really, because we've tracked the home values and appreciation for San Diego for years, and prices will tend to double every 7 to 10 years. So, if our video here hasn't scared you from moving, no, you're making a wise investment with buying a home in San Diego, because over the long haul, appreciation in your property is going to make you a very happy homeowner. Which brings us to our number 10 reason to not move to San Diego. See, the biggest thing about moving to San Diego is figuring out just where in the world you're gonna live. This county is so big. If you're like most people who have come to visit San Diego, well, you're probably spent 99% of your time in downtown and the midtown areas, where all the touristy stuff's at. This county spans 65 miles from north to south and 86 miles from east to west. I think I said in a prior video, it's over a 30-mile radius. Well, yeah, it's even bigger than that. Really, you could put yourself through hell trying to research all the different areas to move to, because 15 minutes apart or 15 miles apart around here are two separate things and lifestyles, and likely different microclimates. So don't stress yourself out by trying to see all of the different areas. You could live here a lifetime and never visit all the little areas and neighborhoods or all of the different little lifestyles. That's why when you come here, especially if you never really moved to a new city before and you don't realize it, but you take everything for granted, all your roads and your shortcuts back home that you're familiar with. I mean, moving to San Diego, somewhere new, can be tricky. What type of living do you want to experience? See, you want to be able to portray that to someone and trust them to match you up with the right environment. Well, that's the thing that we have mastered. What's your lifestyle like? What do you want to do in your new community? What kind of things are you into? What do your kids need to feel right at home? Where are you going to be working at? Once we find out those types of things, we can match you up with a couple of areas, ones that fit your lifestyle and make your move easy. And if we can help it, even fun, finding you the perfect fit. This is something we talk with folks about all the time who reach out to us. Like we said, we want you to be comfortable and confident with this whole process. Hey, the only way that we can help you is if you reach out to us. Give us a call, a quick text, or even an email. Hope you appreciated our honesty with these reasons not to move to San Diego, and we'll see you on the next video.